Guys, the Kia EV6, let's talk about that car for a second. It's really starting to grow on me from when I first saw it, and I'm gonna show you exactly why that is. But what's really cool about this car is the performance. So just have a look at this. Let's look at this 400-meter drag race here together from the official Kia official launch video for the EV6. It's going to go up against some popular sports cars, and even I'm not sure if you can call it supercars, but high-performance cars such as the Urus AMG GT 570S, Targa 4, and the California T. So this is what's exciting about EVs today. So let's just have a look at the race here first. In the beginning, and that's that instant force with the dual motor. This is the GT version of the EV6, and you can see that it got beat by the 570S. It says engineered for emotional performance, which is a little bit confusing. I don't understand the term emotional performance. It seems like a marketing statement, because for me, emotional, that would mean that the 570S would be an emotional performance to me, or the AMG GT, also emotional performance, because you feel the engine and you can hear the noise when you're accelerating. So this would be more like clinical performance, I guess. But what I want to talk to you about in this video is the proportions of the EV6. I want to show you exactly why it's a typical EV proportion car. If you look at it, by the way, I love this camo that they have on this specific version. It gives me a little inspiration for the Model 3. The EV6 here, it is a 430 kilowatt battery pack. It has dual motors in the GT version, which is pretty nuts. That's equal to 584 horsepower or something like that. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds with a top speed of 160 miles per hour. Not bad for an EV that looks like it could be almost a minivan, or I'm not sure what to call this type of package, because it's such a unique package from Kia here that it's kind of confusing to figure out what to call this. It looks almost like a minivan crossed with a station wagon, and if you go without the GT package, you get these black trim pieces around the wheels, which makes it look like an off-roader as well. So it's a little confusing, but at the same time, it's a cool looking car. I mean, they took the space and really maximized the space for this EV right here, for the EV6. And by what I mean by that is they took the wheelbase and they pushed the wheelbase far out in the end points of the car, if you look at it from a side view like right here, and maximize the space, the interior space, that way. And that's how they get these incredibly large interiors. They say that this interior here is almost on par with what you get from a medium to large or full-size SUV, and I can definitely see that, because you can see that the wheels here pushed out all the way almost to the far end of the car, and there is almost zero overhangs in the front and the back, and that creates this massive 2.9 meters, I think they said it was, wheelbase. So within this space you can have a bunch of interior design and space and configurations on the interior, because this platform of EVs allows you to do that. So I want to talk to you about this is the GT here, and this is the trim level I would prefer over the regular EV6, because here, as you can, I'm going to show you the regular one in just a second here, but here we have body painted this panel right here, or this trim pieces around the wheels. It's de-chromed. I think even the taillights might be smoked out, and you have smoked front headlights as well, and all different styling in the bumper in the front. I think the rear is different as well. And I like the blacked out pieces right here that you can see around the windows, for example. It just looks cleaner. I am not a fan of chrome on any type of cars. We'll look at the regular EV6 right here. You can see that we have a chrome piece, for example, down here going into this piece, and then we have some chrome right about there. And what's really confusing to me here a little bit is it seems like it's almost changing the type of vehicle that it is. I guess you can do that when you play around with the EV proportions and have different types of almost an SUV off-roader when you have the regular car like this with the black trim pieces around the wheels, for example, right here. And if you have a sporty version, you can have the same type of package, the same car, but if you change the trim levels of the car, it's going to make a totally different impression when you first see it. This looks more like a station wagon to me. Maybe a elongated hatchback or something like that. And this looks like I don't know what to call this. It looks like a off-roader as station wagon SUV hatchback, something like that. So they have a totally different feeling to them, but the proportions is typical EV proportions. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. As I said, if you have an EV, you don't have the need for a massive engine in the front, no transmission, nothing like that. You only have dual motors on each axle, one right here, one right here. That's pretty much all the technicalities that are essential, the big parts that makes the car move back and forth. That is the motors that you have on each axle. Around that, you have a lot of freedom to create whatever you want on top of this skateboard of batteries. I know some people think that when they see an EV, they think it looks weird, it looks off for some reason, and that's exactly what I want to show you here. The reason why it looks off is because of the A-pillar. So let's have a look if we, for example, move back the A-pillar to make it into a pretty much what an internal combustion engine version of this specific car would look like. It would look something like this. It's not going to be I'm not doing a complete redesign here, but I just want to show you why some people think that the EVs look a little weird. It has to do with the hood right here and the positioning of the A-pillar. So we move that back to about this point right here. And now if we go back and forth between these two versions of this car, you can see the difference right here. So this is before, this is how the EV6 looks like, and this is after. So you can see that it needs to create this movement. You need to move the A-pillar back in order for the engine to have a place in front of the windscreen. So that's the reason why EVs look a little different. The A-pillar right here needs to be moved back further this way, and of course you need to have a higher hood, because same thing there, you need to fit the engine underneath, so you need to give it some space and not have it be as flat as EVs usually are right here. Or you can see that it dips super fast. The hood is super short and it's almost like a little bubble here. That's it, there's nothing more to it. Tesla has the same kind of thing to their designs, especially the 3 and the Y, and some people like it, some people don't. I think the Audi e-tron GT did a fantastic job when it comes to this, to kind of retain the original sportiness of a large sporty sedan and not have it look too EV-ish. They used it in a different approach. They used the EV platform in a different approach because the hood is really low still in the middle, so it looks super sporty. It looks almost like a sketch, and that's what I love about the e-tron GT. It looks like it took them from a sketch where the proportions are often exaggerated to sell the concept, but they didn't have to make any major changes to the design because they don't have to have the engineers come in and ruin the designs and the proportions, which usually happen when you have an ICE car. So they took the sketch and just produced the feeling and the vibe you got from the sketch, and that turned out to be the beautiful e-tron GT. This though, I think this is a great car because it's going to sell EVs to the masses. It's going to introduce a lot of new people and category of groups to EVs, and of course I think they're going to enjoy the performance and be surprised by the performance. 3.5 seconds 0 to 60. Imagine if this is a MPV, just a regular Kia basically. If this does 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds and with a top speed of 160 miles per hour, and you saw the drag race yourself, the performance is there, 584 horsepower. imagine what the brands that are working on becoming 100% electrical right now. For example, Maserati has plans of becoming 100% electric within a few years. Same thing with Jaguar as well. And you have the Lamborghini Terzo Millennial concept. Imagine the performance of those cars. We're starting to see what the hypercar electric cars will be able to perform with the, for example, Lotus Evija and the Rimac Concept 2 with a 0 to 60 time with less than 2 seconds. Also, the new Tesla Model S is in that range as well. Just wanted to make this video to show you talk about the EV6 and the proportions of it and what I think of it. I think it's an exciting car. I really love the interior design of the EV6, and they hinted in the promo, in the official launch video, that they didn't want to make an interior and just slap a display onto the dashboard, and that was obviously a hint or shots fired at Tesla for sure. That's one thing about the Model 3, my Model 3, that I wish Tesla would do a little different. I like the interior. It's very easy to clean. It's very simplistic, clinical, but it doesn't have a lot of emotion in it, and that's why I prefer the interior of the EV6 over the Tesla Model 3. I think it's a beautiful interior, and it's all recycled materials. They say they used the equivalent of 100 empty plastic water bottles to create pieces of the interior of the EV6. It's a cool approach to recycling materials and making it into something beautiful like this, and especially the GT with the green accents just look beautiful with the dark colors, and then you have the neon green accents on the inside. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.